You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Hello Sport Podcast. I'm Unqualified Opinion and Unwavering Bias. Back Monday, 7th of June, officially in winter. It's cold as fuck. And off the back of a Rugby League bye weekend, which is the only thing scatter than cold weather. Joining me as always is my good friend Edward Simpson, one of the great loves of my life. How are you?
Good, mate.
Yeah.
Good. Fresh as a daisy.
Oh, yeah, you had a
Fresh as a daisy.
fresh weekend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wholesome. Tom.
Yeah.
From top to bottom.
Dog training and shit.
Yeah. Dog training on Friday. Had the dog trainer around. Behavioural specialist.
That's nice. So has your dog got like learning difficulties or some shit? Or is it like...
I just think that he was given like rule of the roost and just started to take the piss a little bit.
Yeah, right. He was a spoiled brat.
Yeah, he's fucking oath he was spoiled. Spoiled within an inch of his life.
Yeah.
Did whatever the fuck he wanted. And it's not till you get someone in, they go, oof,
This dog's a little shit.
you shouldn't be doing that, bro.
Right.
That you realise, okay, got to make some changes, some wholesale changes.
Yeah. And he's still young enough to make changes.
Oh, fuck yeah. But it's basically, if you got to, the lesson is you got to have him under control. He's not allowed to just do whatever the fuck he wants, because if he takes the piss with small things like jumping on the couch, then it extends all the way up to like...
Give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Exactly. So he's been...
And he'd rip Ella's arms clean out of her fucking shoulders.
Well, he's
right?
ripped yours out of your...
Well, he ripped the top of my finger off.
Yeah. He's a big fucking strong boy. There's no doubt about that. And he'd been pulling a little bit on the lead and getting excited around other dogs. And we're like, okay, time to rein this in.
Because if he fucking kicked off... Now, he's a sweet boy.
Yeah.
He's a sweet boy.
Yeah, sweet as a
But
bug.
if him and another dog kicked off, there is fuck all you could do to stop him. Unless you stuck a finger up his ass, Charlie Staines lockjaw style.
You'd have to Staines him for sure, and you'd have to really give it to him. But if take that away, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
He's a big presence, and he's a big boy. Like he's strong as an ox.
He's strong as fuck, dude. When we were at the pub recently, and I was holding the lead again, I'm like, if he goes, you've got to like you're fucking you're wakeboarding.
Oh yeah, 100%. You could wakeboard behind him.
100%.
For sure.
If you get him to run along the bank, the river bank.
Yeah.
Anyway, something to think about.
But so he just showed us a couple of little techniques. It's about you. It goes all the way down to he can't invade your personal space, and if he does, you got to like fucking just give him a bit of a to get him out.
Show him who's boss.
Show him who's boss, if you know what I mean. And then that goes all the way up to like when he's in the house, he's only on his bed. He can't leave unless you get him off. Like
For the whole time he's at home?
Like if you're inside, he's got to be on his little bed.
Just
At
like
least-
forever.
Well, not forever, but like then you go outside and you go for walks and shit.
Right.
You get him up, we go outside. I don't just leave him there all day. But the idea is, at least in the first month,
He needs to know what's up. Yeah, okay.
That's the rule. Crazy the difference it's made. Like,
Really?
Once upon a time, he'd be like, I'm not fucking staying on this bed, bruh. Like, I'd have to bribe him with cheese and shit. And he's like, and even still, he'd be like, nah. If someone came to the door, he'd be up. If someone was cooking in the kitchen, he'd be up. He like stays there now.
Really?
It's crazy.
Is he in like a good mood still? He's not like feeling sorry for himself?
Oh, he's a little bit like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah, right.
Like we were cooking his dinner last night, and he was like, he was ropeable.
Cooking his dinner? What do you give him?
Kangaroo meat.
Don't you just give him like fucking canned meat? Or like,
Well, sometimes we get like, we sort of like mix and match. Ella likes to fucking come in and out. Yeah. Sometimes we'll cook kangaroo meat. Otherwise, you can get these like dog kangaroo sort of like big.
Yeah, I know exactly what they are. They're just like fucking mincy sort of meat shit. Yeah.
Anyway, he was fucking furious last night. Like crying and shit. But apparently it's not crying. They're whinging. They're not crying.
Yeah, just whinging.
Anyway, I'm not going to fucking bore the punter and the dribbler
No.
with my
Dog
behavioural
rhetoric.
training. But I will say this. Shout out to Nthn. Nthn, now a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Nthn, an impressive individual. He knows what he's doing
With the dog.
with the dog. Went for a walk with him last night. Wasn't pulling.
You and Nathan?
No, with Tonka.
Oh, right. I thought you were saying you and Nathan went for a walk last night. I'm like, fuck, he is a friend.
Yeah.
That's happened quick. Jesus Christ, he must have impressed you.
Yeah. So there you go.
Shout out to Nathan. Should also Shout out to the punters and dribblers, Eddie, who sold out our live show in 24 hours.
23,
Went the big
who's
lift.
counting?
23, 22, 5.
Who's counting? Who's counting?
So that's pretty exciting. We left it very late, last minute sort of thing. Still managed to, the rabid fucking punter and dribbler just wanted to get there.
Look, we were unorganised. Well, it wasn't even our idea, to be honest. Louis and Michael, friend of the shows, they sort of were like, we should do one, and then we did it. So apologies for those who think, fuck these guys, just do everything last minute.
Yeah, but also you know what, get over it. I tell you what, again.
Well, the next one, what I'm saying is the next one, there will be more time.
Shitloads more time, and it'll be huge. That's the plan anyway. But the P's and D's who just then after, even you still had 24 hours, right? Obviously, very happy that it went that quick, but you still had 24 hours. It was still there. It was still, and then these guys going dude, fuck, man, can you get me another ticket? I'm like, no, I can't. They're all gone. But man, I was fucking, some guy's like, dude, I've been in Tasmania. And I'm like, well, I can't help you, bro.
Also, what's the implication?
Well, in fairness to him, I was like, that's the shittest excuse I've ever heard. You're in Tasmania. They've got internet, dude. He's like, I was rock climbing. I was like, well, that's a fair point. You live a far more extreme life than I do, but I can't help you. We're going to have to wait for another time. But yeah, Wednesday, whenever the fuck you listen to this, Origin night, the Bellevue Hotel, State of Origin, gonna rip and tear. I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I've been thinking about it. I think New South Wales win and win well.
Yeah.
Which will sort of be the cherry on top of a lovely evening, I think.
Yep. And look, I don't think we'll spend too much time. We'll talk a bit Origin here, but I don't think, we might almost be like, you know what, this is going to be we'll save our Origin yarn for the lucky punters and dribblers who.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah,
we don't want to double dip on.
We don't want to double dip
great
on
content,
on phenomenal Origin content. If I start jabber-jawing with you about shit now, by the time we get up there, it's just going to, everyone's like, I heard this shit before.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
No, that's a good point. But I will say this, punters and dribblers, New South Wales will win and win well.
Win well. I don't have anything, I think, to report from the weekend. I don't have anything overwhelmingly interesting. And if I do, it has escaped me, and it's escaped me quickly.
Did you have a good time yesterday on the Shardies?
Yes, I did have a good time on the Shardies yesterday. That was a little family day. Again, nothing crazy to report, but Shardies we did have.
Just checking in with an old friend.
No, I get you. Oh, I tell you what we did have, a fucking ultrasound for baby numero dos, and I am trying to not find out the gender, right?
Did you see a big hog on the screen?
Didn't. And if I did, it's not my child, sadly. But I was looking at it, and I was asking the fuck. I'm like, so can you tell what gender it is? Or he's like, yep. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm just it's very difficult not to find out. But this lady can see. She said you can see the genitals. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. But it's 3D and shit now when you're doing ultrasounds. You can see
what, they've upped their equipment?
Yeah, they can 3D image.
Did it used to be 2D?
Well, it just used to be black and white fucking with the shit you see. Now it's you can they can be over the top of the face and it's
depth.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not important, but we will.
Well, it's impressive.
It is impressive. We will still try and hit up Bluebet about a market on maybe the gender of my child.
Have you asked them yet?
No,
I think that's
forgot.
a no-brainer.
Gender and date.
Gender and date.
If you pick both.
Bespoke markets on Bluebet.
Burma's baby.
Burma's baby.
Baby Burma.
Obviously, you're not going to get it $2 for either sex, but you might get $1.85.
Might get $1.85.
There might be a bit of cream in it for us. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll tell them there's some sort of affiliate set up. No, I don't think. We've got young D or Dave in here. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dave's an intern of ours who's been here for a year and a half. I'm just taking the piss. But Dave, you had your wisdom teeth or tooth out?
Well, teeth, but just the left side. So a bit of top and bottom. Why? Because they were pushing in on the rest of my teeth. And
why not the other ones?
Well, because these ones are fine on the right, which is weird.
So they're through and fine?
Yeah, they had all come through. The ones on the right, lining up in order, perfect, behaving well. The ones on the left kind of skewing a bit and pushing the rest of my teeth to the right.
Do you feel lopsided?
I actually do. When I move my tongue across my mouth, there's a hole there, but it's all like
It's all toothed up
it's
on the
all
other
there.
side.
It's all walled up on the other side. So
I've got
it's weird.
3 wisdom teeth coming through, and the dentist said to me back in the day,
Coming through.
Yeah.
You're 32.
I know, dude. On Thursday, actually. But yeah, look, there's one there. Like, they're all sort of like partially through, but not fully through. And I've just ignored the pain for years. I was like, fuck, this is going to be a bad couple of days when they start moving. The dentist said to me ages ago, like, you need them out or your teeth are just going to become like fucking Sun Yang. But nothing's happened. So, I mean, my teeth aren't perfectly straight, but I don't look like Sun Yang.
No, you don't look
I don't
like
have a
Sun Yang,
morgue
that's
mouth.
fair to say.
But
Mate,
Dave in distress, Eddie, sent out a bat signal
When?
to me on Friday.
yeah, it would have been
Friday. Because his mouth is in so much pain and he had an open wound in his mouth, and he's like, obviously you can't fucking suck back monster cones.
Well, it's not advised.
It's not advised to rip bongs while you've got an open wound in your mouth. So he came over to my place to procure some of the delicious weed cookies that we've been sent. And I saved the day for him. But I felt like a drug dealer. It was all dark.
I thought you were going to say modern day Mother Teresa.
Well, that too.
Well, two sides of the same coin.
Yes,
Like dealers,
yeah, exactly.
Charitable,
Yes.
saints, the same thing.
Did it help you, Dior?
Shout out to the dribbler who sent them, because they were delicious cookies. They were really nice to eat. Microwave them a bit and drowned them in some milk, so it was a bit mushy.
Microwaved them.
Yeah, so I wasn't just biting down on a hard cookie.
That's smart, actually.
But-
Really smart footy from
Very
you.
smart.
It did confirm one thing that I've kind of always thought about myself, is that I'm pretty much immune to edibles. I had a brownie and a cookie.
Nothing.
You're
a bong lord. He said to me when he sent him through, he was like, Dave may need more than...
He said Dave in the
He
first
goes, when he first said, he goes, Dave may need more.
But I get tolerance is one thing, but I've had one experience maybe in my whole life out of quite a few where it's actually hit me. And
Put it this way, I have half a cookie and I'm fucking baked off my ass.
Wonder what that's about. Is it your raging
cones
hot
all the time.
metabolism?
I have no
Or
idea
that
what
you
it
rip
is.
3 or 4 every hour on the hour?
Could be all of the above. Could be a conjunction of everything, but it's weird. It's never they've never worked on me.
Dude, that's
I've had ones where my friends.
So
have
what you're
been
telling me
like,
is I just wasted all of these fucking weed cookies on you. Have you finished them all?
No. There's still a couple left.
You should just fucking down as many of them as you can.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe I
that's the next
See
challenge.
what your threshold is.
Maybe we just get this guy to send one potent motherfucker.
I was going to say that. You know, in chili eating contests where people take it personal, like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'll give you the hottest chili.
I reckon we go to this guy and just go, give us a fucking...
Why don't you send
Bomb.
your best?
Yeah.
Send your platinum cookie.
Take this as a challenge.
Yeah.
To fucking try and blow Dave's head off.
Yeah. We want Dave to be comatose.
Yeah, we
I
want
wanna
Dave
get,
to be...
so high that I actually never want to get high again.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll have to...
This is just too
We'll
much.
have to put him in an Uber and send him to the wrong address to fuck with him and then just sort of let him go. You know what I mean? Wash our hands of him and just
Oh,
go.
no. Oh, yeah. And just put a GoPro on his head.
Yeah,
Film him.
watch him try to get home.
Yeah.
Something to think about there. Something to think about. So you didn't get high at all?
Not really
even
from
slightly?
brownies, nah.
Did you not think to just eat more?
I didn't want any more because I thought at any point they could get kicked in. Although what I did do
Yeah.
is I've got a little weed vape, which is not as harsh as actual smoke plus. There are alternative ways of smoking when the mouth is out of play.
What, up the...
Oh my God.
So that was the sus for the first day.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
I've never seen that
I've
done.
never seen that done.
It makes complete sense.
It doesn't make sense, but that's like
You
bong
see it
lord.
happen, you're like, okay, I get that.
He's a bong lord.
Yeah.
Did you smoke cones up your nose?
Did not smoke cones on my
Have
nose.
you
That
ever?
would have been no, that's just logistically too hard.
What if you got a little, a little mini nose
You get a
bomb?
little, yeah, a
you
little
need
piece.
some sort of reverse funnel to make the.
No, you just get a
mouthpiece
small
bit-
bong.
Yeah, get a nose bomb.
nose bomb.
Or you
Good
just
make
get, or
'em.
you get a normal billy, and it's you get a mod, a silencer
What
on a
about,
gun,
one
but you just
a
sort of
silencer?
attach it to
One
the top.
with tooth,
Two thingos. There you go. You get two nostrils.
Yeah,
in it.
yeah. Then it's pretty much like one of those hospital things where they just pump air into
Correct.
your nose. Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Oh, that's
hilarious,
so
Dave.
okay. And so you just smoked it.
You really are a little...
You are a little bong lord. I think that's the bong lord. Well, congratulations. And are you feeling better?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think on the scale of wisdom teeth removals, I got off lightly because they weren't deep in the gum and it was only on one side.
Were you knocked out or you in the chair?
No, I was knocked out.
People get them out in the chair. I go, you gotta be
Fuck
sick in the
that
head.
shit,
ways.
dude.
We're like, well, you can't feel anything. I'm like, bruh.
You feel them yanking on you and
You got your
shit.
see it
fucking
happen.
mouth open
Yeah,
and some bloke's got a drill out, cutting your gum open.
Yeah.
And you're
no.
just sitting there copping it while they got a big hose in your
Yeah,
mouth
but it's like, you
sucking
know
out
what?
blood.
I'd prefer you just to knock me out before you start. And then when they're putting injections in your gums and shit, you're like, just knock me out for this. Like, fucking hell, I don't need to be around for this.
Did they do like the countdown or anything when you were getting put under?
Nah, they put the thing in my arm.
I got to like 1.
And then I was like
bang.
"Ugh."
Yeah.
And then they gave me the mask and they just like put the mask on.
Did you get the mask, you cutie?
Yeah, I had the thing in my arm and the mask. And as they put the mask on, I'm like, well, I'm just going to close my eyes and chill. And I just closed my eyes. And then next thing I know, I was
Next
awake.
thing you wake up.
That's the thing about anesthesia is it's like you just feels like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a sleep.
it's not like,
where,
you know when you've slept, you know you've been asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, oh, how long have I been asleep? Like, what the fuck? I just
No,
went
it's
out
just
and
like
back.
closing your
Proper
eyes and
blackout,
and opening them again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. It's fucking...
It's weird.
But you still do when you wake up from an anesthesia. You do feel like time has passed, though. You're just like, what the fuck?
No,
Yeah, well,
mate,
'cause,
for
like-
me, I was like, hang on.
Well, because
I've
you
had it
know
a bunch.
time's passed. But it was only like an hour for me. And I was like, oh, shit, that was quick. But that was the first time I'd ever been under like general anesthesia.
Oh, really?
I'd never had any surgery.
Were you nervous?
Before, so I was a little bit, but I just didn't know what it
I
was gonna
get
be
it. Like, first time you ever do it, but it's the tits, dude.
Chill, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty relaxed stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous. It was just like, oh, I wonder what this is
Yeah,
gonna
what's
be
happening
like.
here?
Yeah.
Any thought around just getting them all out at the same time, just getting on with it?
Well, like all 26 teeth. Just getting all, just gums.
Just gumming.
Just gum. I thought about it, but
Imagine if you wake up with no teeth.
Well, like they've gone, oh, sorry, we thought you wanted them all out.
Hang on the form you
It
stated
said
all.
fucking all teeth.
yeah.
And it was like, no, I meant all wisdom teeth, you fucking idiot. Well, sweet.
These dentures.
Yes. Probably time to move on. All right, Eddie. So it's a bye round of rugby league, which, as we've come to expect, to know and love, is just a fucking pile of shit, really. None of the games are really that good.
Well,
To be fair, I didn't see the Storm Titans game, but like,
historically, it was always 3 seasons, essentially, before Origin, during Origin, after Origin. Now, with the inclusion of the Sunday game, which is game 2, it's cleaned it up a bit. Because now we only get 2 out-and-out bye weekends.
yes.
Whereas in the past, remember they used to do that like 4 bye rounds and then 4 games are off and then 1 game's off. And then like, it was just a fucking
was a
shit
shit show.
So they have fixed it up, but make no mistake, the bye rounds are pure shit.
Yeah. So, what was the Thursday night game?
Dragons, Broncos.
Dragons, Broncos.
Picked it.
You did. DMC, you picked it. Then Friday was Tigers, Panthers, was it? Mm-hmm. And that's the one we didn't pick. And we'll talk about it on About Even, the best betting show in the land. But Tigers 13 plus was actually what everyone should have picked because that's the least plausible outcome for a DMC in that situation.
We never listen to our own advice. Like no longer.
Tigers 13 plus was the pick.
No longer.
No.
Will I do that?
But the problem there is, and everyone's fucking, it happens every year essentially around Origin time, but it's like, Panthers shouldn't have lost that game. It's only because of Origin they lost that game. And I'm not a Panthers fan, but the storyline of the Panthers streak was had far more yarn about it than a one-off fucking DMC Tigers win over a depleted Panthers side. Do you know what I mean? And now that's just gone because they had to lose fucking 8 players to Origin.
Yeah, I understand that. Are you suggesting, Tom, that every weekend before an Origin's a bye is no one plays?
Something like that, dude. Like,
Well, look, you and I have thought about this at great length. At great length.
some might say too much.
And I was always of the opinion that potentially the end of the season could work. We tried on those pants last season. I didn't like it.
No.
I actually liked it way less than I thought I would.
I hated the end of the season.
Now, I also used to think that there would be merit in stringing all the games together.
I just spilled some coffee. Well, it was coffee water rather than coffee, but it did land on the couch.
Well, it's got coffee in it. Anyway.
it's got coffee in it, but it's not I don't think it's stainable. It's like the condensation at the top.
Tom
of
has
it.
just stained Denon's couches. These wouldn't be that old. I mean, maybe a month or two. I think we all can agree that Tom isn't going to remove the fabric and get it washed.
Nah,
or
dude,
dry
we're good.
cleaned or steamed.
I'll Febreze it, bro. If there's any need to Febreze it, which I don't think there is.
Tom wouldn't know how to get a stain out if his life depended on it.
No, dude, I fucking wouldn't. You're right. I'm not a
stain guy.
No, I'm not a.
Look at him. Does he look
freak
like a
you.
stain guy? No, he doesn't.
Well, yeah, he actually does. He looks
Look,
like a guy
I
who
won't
has a lot of
apologise.
stains.
I won't
Yeah.
apologise for the way I was reared, Tom. Shout out to
You're
Mum.
fucking
Shout out to
anally
Mum.
retentive. Don't make it about your mother. You're a fucking psycho.
She's the one that taught me to
to remove stains.
the art of stain removal.
Yeah,
Tom.
right. Okay.
A subtle art.
Subtle art
Ancient.
it is. Well, maybe because we're a team, essentially we both stain the couch. You're on stain removal.
Imagine the first person to remove a stain.
To be like, fuck, I got it.
They would have thought it was magic.
Mate, that would have been... They were probably hung as like...
I've got my stain.
as a witch.
Yeah, as a witch. I've got my stain removal hack, which I've only used once, but it worked. White wine. You pour white wine on fucking anything and it basically just comes out.
I tell you my hack for young players that just, probably at uni, maybe in a shit house, just keep throwing it back in. Just keep washing it. Wash that shit within an inch of its life and you should be all right.
Just keep going.
Just keep washing. And look, there'll be tough days where you go, this isn't coming out. But you got to fucking hang strong and keep ripping and keep tearing and just keep turning up.
Turn it up. Day after day, week after week.
Week after week. But look, that's beginner entry level
Have you
stuff.
tried white wine?
No.
We had a red
no.
We had a red wine stain on the carpet in Bathurst. Fucking big one. Shout out to Hamish Street who probably did it. And
Probably.
I just emptied a fucking bottle of white wine on there, Savvy B, and just let it soak. And then, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
So-
Use salt as well.
There you go. Salt, white wine, wash it nonstop. We were talking rugby league though, I believe.
I'm lost. Yeah, that's right. Then we've also floated with the idea of back-to-back-to-back weeks. Really can fucking condense that thing mid-season. I've got to be honest with the punter and the dribbler. I have to be. I like building narrative and yarn and suspense, and you get that when you string the fucker out a little bit.
Yes.
When you got 3 weeks in between games, it gets tongues a wagon.
Yeah.
And then you start to fucking question this and question that and this option and that option and this and that. I just think it's better for the spectacle if you allow it to get
Marinate.
to marinate and then reach crescendo.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Now, where does that leave us in terms of ironing out the bye weekend creases? I think the only option would be you would have 3 bye rounds, three complete wipes, as in this weekend, the weekend when the Origin's on Sunday and one of the others. And either you'd pump the fuck out of your Queensland Cup and your New South Wales Cup, you know what I mean? Or put on some Pacific Island
That's what you do.
tournaments.
Pacific Islander tournaments and the fucking fastest player in the comp, all that sort of shit, like an NRL combine.
You could do that. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just be completely honest.
Can we do that?
What would we lose if we just got rid of the bye round rugby league?
It's
I don't
so
think
shit.
I don't think you'd lose much. I don't think
so
you'd lose much.
shit,
Does anyone give a fuck? I was barely motivated to turn the telly on over the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's unlike me.
No, you just had
To
to
watch 0 rugby league. I didn't watch 0, but I didn't watch a whole lot of it.
No. You
Turned
just have
on
to.
and was like, oh, do I give a fuck about this? When you know the best players aren't out there.
It's
you're
hard
just
to get
like,
hard. It's hard to get hard.
And the fixtures, I was like, you know
Storm
what I mean?
only beating the Titans by 6.
Oh,
You know
but
what
it's
I mean?
old boys' day at Newcastle. Yeah, but they got 50, 40
They got
put on
50
them.
put on
You
them.
know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about?
Michael Pride's desperation to try and make it
I
seem
know.
like they were
Why
going
don't,
to
well, you know, bring some teams out of the Pacific and have tournaments here.
Yeah.
Fly them all out, put them all up, put bums on seats. I think that's pretty exciting.
Tonga and shit.
Indigenous tournaments, shit like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Look in your own backyard, you could.
Make it happen. Anyway,
I think that would be cooler.
way
personally.
cooler than the poo that we had to watch on the weekend.
And
poo it was.
then to your point, Tom, the Panthers don't go down to a DMC in a game that doesn't really count.
Doesn't matter at all.
You know, but then you sound like a fuckwit if you're a Panthers fan going, we haven't lost a game except for the bye round.
That's exactly what will happen.
Grand final.
That's what will happen. It'll be
you
like...
sound like a loser if you say that.
But they already do.
I'm just letting you know.
They already do.
But then also, I mean, with that, you're never going to fully avoid having players out because, like, Friday night, Manly and Penrith are playing.
Meant to be going to that game.
Yeah.
No,
like,
but no. But you can promise your fucking last dollar that Jake Trbojevic will turn up for the club, and Daly Cherry Evans probably will.
Daly, Jake, Tommy
They
won't.
both will.
That's
They'll
what's
play.
fucking annoying, though. I was going to that game, and then I'm like, fuck.
There is zero chance Tom plays.
No. You would think that there is not a chance.
And if there is, I'm on the blower to Des and going, what in fucking God's name are you doing? Don't win the comp in June, mate.
Yeah, but I'm going to the game, so if you think he's going to be all right, then maybe just let him play because I'm going to be there.
Who are you going with?
Harvey, you want to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can go.
Yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Can I go?
Yeah, Friday, Brookie, the Hill.
6 p.m.
Yeah, I'm
6
but
p.m.
I'm thinking about what. No, I can't. I've got a
there
wedding.
you go.
I was like, can I go? No, I can't.
You got a wedding on Friday.
It's down in Braidwood.
Shout out to Charlie Bly, got married over the weekend.
He did.
Congratulations, bro. In
Well
Darwin.
done, mate.
Couldn't make it, but
Street
it
was
looks
up
like
there.
it was a beautiful time. Yeah, so the buy round's fucked. But some other funny things in rugby league, Eddie, that I think it's important for us to get to. And funny, maybe not the right word when you talk about 3 players being let go from a club, but
No, I wouldn't use it.
no, I wouldn't use that. But the Sharks now starting to try and make some big boy moves after they fucked Adam Reynolds signing.
It's a big boy move, what they've done.
They've gone Sean Johnson, laters, Aaron Woods, laters, Josh Dugan, Man of Steel's en route. Then signed Nthn Hynes of fucking emerging NRL hot boy fame.
Did you see the cutout ball he threw on
Dude,
the weekend?
it was glorious.
Like, talk about fucking peak arousal.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
God.
Ridiculous.
Nothing gets me stiffer than a cutout leaguey pass.
You know what, as
Nothing.
well? I'm not going to make
If you know what I mean? Not the Union Spiral.
No.
Crap.
A leaguey fucking floater.
Float that motherfucker.
Manly Jr. Nicho Hynes.
No, I know. Well, he's from the Central Coast.
Trent let him go. Trent let him go. Anyway, he's now...
Trent
let him go.
Yeah, but you know what? Am I calling the Bulldogs season for him karma? Not necessarily. But the rugby league gods work in mysterious ways, and if you don't think those two events are linked, then you haven't been paying attention.
Just while we're on that, you know who the Bulldogs are apparently also looking at? Matt Dufty, another outside back. Ridiculous. Insanity. Not that Matt Dufty's not good, but what the fuck?
Matt Dufty's good. I rate Matt Dufty.
What the fuck? How many backs can you have?
Well, they're going to have to swing the axe.
yeah, they will. They have to,
Or they actually legitimately are
17 backs.
going for 17 backs to see if it fucking... It's a quick game now. You know what I mean?
It'd be a great movie. Call it
quick.
17 backs.
Yeah, 17 backs.
And the time that Trent Barrett fucking went for 17 backs.
It's like his Moneyball moment.
Yes.
They go out there and they don't win a game and it's all over. But that's all right.
it's the anti-money ball.
Yeah. Well, when they figure out you can't truck nut with backs.
No, exactly.
Anyway.
Matt Dufty, not a PCM king. Sharks. Aaron Woods, I get it. They're letting Aaron Woods go.
Who are they going to play at 7?
Moylan.
Who?
Moylan, weren't they? Moylan
Oh,
7,
you reckon they'll go...
Hynes 6, and then Will Kennedy
Moylan
at
Hynes
fullback.
is an interesting...
Oh, so Hynes, I reckon, will play 6.
I think so, because they got Will Kennedy.
Yeah, it's true. Kennedy's good.
I sort
And
of-
Hynes is a bit more of a 6 than a 1.
He was a half coming through.
Yeah.
I sort of had in my mind they were going to put the 6 jersey on him.
I like that. I didn't even think about it, of course.
To be honest, his goal line defense on Saturday night wasn't great. Like his position.
So he defends like a half.
Yeah, he does. His fullback defense isn't like brilliant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And Kennedy has been good, right?
Yeah,
so like
he's been really
it's probably no need to fuck him off.
Yeah.
But what I did love to see, Eddie, which I'm sure you will agree, and so will the punters and dribblers out there, is that the Broncos lowballed Nicho Hynes. Apparently that's where he wanted to go.
To the tune of 300K.
300, yeah, 50% less than what he was. 100% less than what he was.
I'm starting to...
No,
50%
50% of what
he was
he's getting at the, not a numbers guy.
It would be a 100% increase, but it's 50% of the final number.
There we go.
That's where Tom got confused. Tom doesn't know his 2 times tables, but that's fine.
I'm not good with it. I'm not a numbers guy.
Are we ruling out at this point, Tom, given all we've seen out of Brisbane over the last 2 seasons, is it possible now for us, with all the evidence, to rule out some sort of internal sabotage going on? Because the decisions made are nonsensical.
Like, you need good players. Nicho Hynes is throbbing for the best team in the competition, or one of. How in fuck's name do you think you can lowball that cunt? Since Pappenhausen has been out, I don't know if there's ever been a value increase so stark of like a player over like 5 weeks or whatever it's been. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay, so you're like actually you've been on the bench for this team and barely getting a fucking run. Then you get some like consistent time on the field. It's like, oh, you're actually fucking hectic.
Where the fuck did they get 300K from? They're
losers, dude.
Nothing.
That's like fucking junior prop sort of shit.
Mate. Like,
it's only...
The minimum's 150.
The minimum's 150. So I was about to do some maths there. It's only double minimum wage for a guy that is fucking clearly a weapon.
You can't fluke what he's doing.
Can run,
he's
can
not
attack.
Gonna wake up tomorrow and forget how to fucking play footy.
No.
Like, what are you talking about?
But Brisbane were like trying to lowball. It's like, Brisbane, you can't lowball people anymore. You're in an overs game right now. You have to pay people more than you want.
Look, I don't know if you've realised this or not, but I may as well illuminate the situation.
Illuminate it for him.
When you're a loser club that does nothing but lose, you have to pay overs.
Yeah.
Only the big boys play unders for players.
You just got spanked by 50 points at the hands of the Dragons. A DMC put 50 points on you. And Osaka, with the greatest respect, was your fullback and was hooked early. Kevy put him on the bench with like fucking 15 to go.
Yeah, because he played one of the great
He played
shockers
like
all time.
shit.
He was trying to let the ball go dead. It wasn't even halfway through the in goal.
And it was on half time. It was like, just kick the fucker out. What are you doing?
It wasn't anywhere near the dead ball line.
And then Dufty flies through. And
flew.
Oh,
he was moving.
5 try assists, 2 tries or 1 try. I don't know. But like Dragons want to get rid of him.
Who's this new big thick boy that apparently is the next GI that Brisbane have got?
Selwyn Cobbo. One of the great rugby league names.
Is that their play here? It's like, we don't need Hynes, we got Cobbo?
Well, I think that was their play with Walsh. Potentially, they had Cobbo coming through. Walsh, that was just so fucking legit. But Selwyn, huge. I saw some highlights of his like Q Cup shit before he was debuting. He runs like fucking GI, and he's a big boy.
Bro, he's 6'3", 190 centimeters, 99 kilos, and he's 19.
Yeah.
Big, thick
huge
boy.
He's almost bigger than GI was at that age. Like GI was maybe even skinnier. But yeah, look, he was all right. I'm sure he'll fucking throb eventually.
I think we've said this before, but I think it needs to be said again. The Broncos decision makers need to be sat down for a grueling press conference and we ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
Why was Seabold given fucking a 10-year contract? Why'd you get rid of Reece Walsh? Why the fuck did you lowball Nicho Hynes?
Yeah.
Amongst other
Where's Sam
decisions.
Walker? What'd you do with Sam Walker?
Why was he fucked off?
Where'd Sam
to
Walker
Roosters?
go? He literally like had on his fucking bedroom wall for the time he was like a fucking baby. He was like, I want to play for the Broncos. They were like,
What happened with Dearden? Why does Milford get dropped every week and then recalled? Drop recalled.
Poor bastard.
What's that doing to his confidence? It's clearly not helping.
No, it's not.
Anyway, questions that the Broncos probably could answer.
Yeah.
Probably too gutless to do so, but that's all right.
That's all right. That's the way it is.
fine.
Dragons, though, want to get rid of Matt Dufty. Matt Dufty puts on fucking 5 try assists.
I don't know
and
why
now
they
the
wanna
Dragons fans are apparently starting a petition.
I don't know why you want to get rid of Matt Dufty. I think he's been terrific.
Can you see if you can find the petition?
Yep.
Who's anti-Matt Dufty? Is anyone in this room anti-Matt Dufty?
I'm not anti-Matt Dufty, but I will say this. I can get it to a point in that like they don't have anyone else better to bring in, so I don't get it on that level.
Exactly.
Like if they were going to get Nicho Hynes or something, I'd be like, okay. Yeah. But Dufty can rip and tear, but he doesn't rip and tear enough. I feel like he's inconsistent.
He's fucking Tom Trbojevic, mate.
Well, no one is, except Tom.
But like he's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's certainly better than most players in the NRL.
Just over 10,400 signatures so far.
How many members of the Dragons?
It's rising like one every few seconds.
That's crazy town. I wonder if that actually can work, if a petition can influence a club's signing decisions. Probably not. Or could be like, sorry. Or the Broncos are actually looking at Dufty, so they'll probably offer him like $1,500 a year.
Mate, you know what? In certain instances, I think that would make a difference.
Maybe it would.
Sometimes, like I think, again, we've seen evidence that these fuckers don't know what they're doing half the time.
I know, but imagine having to, if you're the coach, like Anthony Griffin, going, we don't want him, and now you've got a bunch of fucking dribblers essentially signing
you just turn around and say we couldn't find anyone else. You just fucking make up a porky.
Just lie.
Just lie.
In the face of a petition go. It had nothing to do with the 30,000 signatures that we got over the weekend after Matt's.
But that's not unusual for rugby league, Tom. It's like when they come out saying we stand by the coach and he's got a future here. He's got a future here. The next hour. You know what I mean? No longer is it the words left their mouth that the bloke's been sacked.
Yeah.
So, they're elite liars, Tom. Elite.
It's a lot of people here. All the comments on the petition. It's like everyone's saying like, "Oh, I'll give up my membership if he doesn't fucking sign him." For fuck's sake, Frizzell, McInnes, now Dufty. Also, we can buy washed-up Broncos players. Insanity.
I can understand that sentiment.
I get that, but I will say this: it is the mark of a DMC that you'd give up your membership to keep Matt Dufty.
100%, dude. That is the most DMC sentence ever. If we don't re-sign Matt Dufty, I am giving up my membership. Yep. That's sort of where it's at for you guys. That's where it's at. If we don't re-sign Braden Williami, I am fucking leaving. I will never come back to this club.
Oh, dear. But I get it. In your context...
Dude, that's in your
context, it makes sense.
That's your Bob Fulton.
It's your truth.
Yeah.
It's your Bob Fulton.
That's the DMC's Bob Fulton, is Matt Dufty.
That's right.
And that's no disrespect.
He's your immortal.
Yeah. He is, sort of.
And though I think they've had immortals.
They what?
Oh, no, St. George Illawarra haven't.
So George Illawarra have no immortals. He's their first immortal, Matt Dufty. The immortal Matt Dufty.
Yep.
There'll
be calls for that next.
Yeah, there will be. Make Matt Dufty an immortal. He is a good player. I don't know if he's at immortal status yet.
Not yet.
But for a DMC, he probably is. He's probably a DMC immortal.
You saw him play on the weekend there. You go, shit.
He might be the greatest DMC player of all time.
Of all time.
So we might have to start like an NRL, a DMC immortal.
Which is separate.
Yes.
Because obviously the...
Immortals are separate. The immortals are the immortals.
No, I just mean that the criteria...
to become an immortal of the game
is different to an immortal of a DMC.
Because like Benji Marshall probably
the bar's lower.
Benji definitely a DMC immortal, but he's not a rugby league immortal, but he's certainly like rugby league Hall of Fame. He's managed to transcend the DMC stigma, and I guess you could say if you've won a comp as a DMC, then you probably managed to sneak your way out of just the DMC conversation.
It was a funny time a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? When everyone was like. A lot of people were calling for him to be an immortal.
I know. Because he threw a couple of cutout balls and shit. It was like, come on, guys. What the fuck?
And then Storm scored 50 points on top of him.
And you're like, oh, okay, maybe not.
No, okay. Oh, did we get a little ahead of ourselves?
Yeah. Did we all get excited that Benji was throwing some fucking sick cutout balls? Yes, we did. We did.
And we yearned for yesterday when he threw that fucking flick pass. Look, it's not 2005. Benji's not an immortal.
No. But Matt Dufty potentially is.
Well, Benji's a DMC immortal.
100%. But he's also like a Hall of Famer in rugby league. So like, I don't want to disrespect Benji. Not that it's a disrespectful tag, but Benji greater than a DMC immortal. You know what I mean? He's gone and transcended.
We're not talking about that. I'm saying he is a
DMC immortal. Yes, he is. Do you know who else would be a DMC immortal? Your Mark Gasniers of the world.
Yes.
Matt Cooper.
Matt Cooper is, but he sort of isn't as well, because I feel like he was a great player, played for his country, but that just because you played for your country from the DMC doesn't mean you're a DMC immortal. Dufty's never played fucking for his country. You know?
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm with you.
But yeah, Gaznia.
Trent Barrett?
No. Trent let Nicho Hynes go. He's not a DMC immortal. You can't, you know what I mean?
Well, he loses points.
Anyway, so I sympathise. I think our hearts go out to Dragons fans who are preparing to cut up their membership cards in honour of Matt Dufty, a DMC immortal.
Look, it's not an easy decision to make, but I respect it.
Do the entire Tigers side from Friday night go into DMC immortal reckoning after beating the Panthers?
Look,
Are they under consideration?
Look, if the Tigers could give out knighthoods, they'd all be sirs.
Knight the entire team.
Yeah.
I like that.
Standing ovation, half and full.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
Standing over
No one
half
likes.
and full.
Look, I will say this. No one likes a standing ovation more than the West Tigers.
They fucking live for it.
They live and breathe standing O's.
Is that maybe because they've got a bit more of that bougie Balmain crowd, the theatre faring crowd, you know, where it's like you do a bit more of the standing ovations for all that sort of shit now?
Look, standing ovations far more common in the theatrical world than they are probably in rugby league.
Yeah.
You don't see that often in rugby league.
No.
I don't hate seeing it. I chuckle to myself when the West Tigers do it because it's usually what's rare first and foremost, and doing it against a side with 7 players out. But that's all right.
That's cool. And then I did actually like to see their entire crowd turn around and fucking start bagging Ivan Cleary through the coach's
That was
bus.
good.
That was good stuff.
I'll give him that.
You got to give him that.
Credit where credit's due. Yeah. They do not like Ivan Cleary.
Well, you can tell they're not over their ex. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they're not. I actually talked to a West Tigers fan the other day, and he was saying that the reason they hate him so much is because he got them all to buy in.
Yeah.
Like, hop on the bus with me.
Yeah, dude.
Like, remember all that bus rhetoric?
On the bus, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what a bus.
And then they all jumped on and he hopped off.
Dude, it was one of the great fucking.
The bus didn't have a driver.
No,
they
were all just stuck on a bus. It was almost like he manipulated them all like emotionally. It's like it's like a partner who then gets you to fall in love with them and then is like, no,
He gaslighted them.
He gaslighted them hard. Can you look up the definition of gaslighting? Because I've heard that's come into vogue so hard recently. Everyone says gaslighting.
Oh, it's in vogue.
Well, I thought gaslighting, I thought it was when you say like, you know, you'll come at me with some opinion or some fact and I'll be like, no, that's stupid, you're ridiculous and you're a complete psycho for thinking that.
No, that's ad hominem, where you attack the person, not the point.
No, but I think... No,
gaslighting is like saying, doing one thing and then pretending like you didn't do it. Like basically manipulating the situation.
Well, it says manipulate someone by psychological means into doubting their own sanity.
Yeah.
So it is like saying...
That's what gaslighting is. Fuck, people must use that so incorrectly. Because I hear it fucking everywhere, like, oh, gaslighting. And you're like, all right, is it though? So you manipulate people.
Have you seen, is it the second Dirty John? Dirty John, the second season?
No.
I don't know what Dirty John is.
Okay. Well, for the punters and dribblers
sex
that is a classic case of gaslighting.
Is it still with Eric Banner?
With Betty, fucking what's her name?
Bette Midler?
Betty White?
No, this chick Betty, she killed her husband because he gaslighted her to this point.
Okay, and gaslighting is again, Dave, what?
So manipulating someone into doubting their own sanity. So it's like saying if you believe that, then like you're insane and you're
I get you. I guess you could say Ivan's sort of done that because I don't know whether the Tigers fans are sure of their sanity when their team's getting fucking pumped into the ground. But it's not in its truest sense.
If you needed evidence to back up the claim that West Tigers fans now insane, standing ovation against Manly in the trial.
Yes, that's true. That's potentially where you go like, oh, this is some crazy eyes from Tigers fans.
They think it's September.
Yeah.
Look, this isn't a DMC bashing session either.
No, fuck no, not at all.
What we're saying is Broncos fans, the Broncos' decision to let Nicho Hynes go
was an absolutely atrocious one.
That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
In a roundabout way.
And that Matt Dufty potentially an immortal of the DMC realm. Is there any more rugby league, Eddie? Because
Corey Parker.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. Couple of things. So we've obviously got a couple of rugby league things to get to here. Curtis Scott, we'll get to in a moment, but I want to try and start a drinking game. Jesus Christ, the bet slip I've just been sent for the golf, if Paddy Cants gets up, is... He won? Yeah. Patrick Cantlay won. Woo! Double back-to-back Butts bets, baby.
Who the fuck put this up?
What? That bet slip?
Is that him?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's why he says, he's like, he goes, I'm going to get my mate to post it. Fucking hell.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That is...
He's on a different fucking level, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's fucking ridiculous.
Could you imagine that dropping into your account?
No, I couldn't.
I'd poo myself.
Yeah, I'd fucking literally shit my pants. And I wouldn't even change my clothes. I'd be like,
no
I want to feel this.
It. Do you want to see my bank account? Boom.
Yeah, bang.
Now you don't care.
We've just been sent a bet slip of responsible gambling, but he did maybe win 96 grand.
$96,181.22. Not going to say who it is.
Not going to say who it is. Put your fucking... You can cross your T's and dot your I's. Anyway, so I've got to... look, this is, like the drinking games, how they work, where it's like fucking something happens. Every time they say Roxanne in the bloody song, you have a shot or whatever you drink. I've got one, but I feel like it's almost just got to... It can't just be like during the game of footy. It's kind of got to be across your entire life, like whenever. But Corey Parker of former Broncos, Queensland, Australia fame says middle third of the field more than anyone I've ever heard. Now, they don't say left third and right third. They just only refer to the middle, which you could just say middle, but they say middle third. Nothing wrong with it. He just loves to say it. Some other people say it, but he says it more than anyone else in the world. He says it when he's commentating the game. He says it when he's fucking on the panel. But I just feel like it doesn't always have to be booze, because some of you are probably sober. Also, you might be watching it at a time when it's not necessarily socially acceptable to drink. But I just like... Ideally, it's when you're drinking, right? But every time you see Corey Parker...
It's a drinking game.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you're watching it on a Wednesday and all you've got is, like, some fucking...
Well, then don't play.
No, you just got to film yourself going middle third and then shot it.
Look, if you're not going to be drinking in the video, don't bother sending it in.
See, this is where I disagree, because I feel like...
Mate, do you know who our audience is? Punters and dribblers?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're watching...
You could drink Dr. V.
Exactly. All I'm saying is if you're watching it at a time where you don't have alcohol readily available, I want them to still be like, Corey Parker, middle third, bang, and have a shot of whatever's around them. Obviously, the preference is to be fucking doing it when you've got a bloke or a fucking Dr. V or whatever. But that motherfucker says middle third more than anyone in the game of rugby league.
Have you counted the middle thirds in like...
Me and Sebo fucking send each other messages all the time. We're like, bro. And not just like Sebo's the one who really discovered it, to be honest. He put it in my mind.
So credit to Seb.
Credit to Seb. But, and now he's put it in the minds of a bunch of people. But like, just start paying attention when Corey Parker is commentating or when he's talking about anything, the middle third is said... Every fucking... I was rocking Evie to sleep the other night, and I just had the headphones in and the footy playing like down in the corner of her room, because it's like you have to black out the room. And I was counting him doing middle third. This is what I thought of the drinking game. So I was like, fuck, if I was having a shot every time this cunt said middle third...
How many did he get up to?
It was probably like 6.5, which again, doesn't seem like it's that much, but then you're like, that's a lot of times to be saying middle third though, still. Like, it's a lot. And then there was one time where he'd said middle third, and then like 2 seconds later he was saying something again. He goes, in the mid, and it was like he was about to say middle third, but just pulled it back to middle. Because I think even maybe sometimes he's like, fuck, I probably get through some middle thirds, like a bit too much.
Well, I mean, if he's pulling himself up, I think it's because the producers had a word saying stop saying middle third, and even he's still saying it 6 times.
I hope that no one's pulled him up.
He may have come from 30 times.
Listen. If this thing gets any traction, he will probably fucking hear about it and stop saying it as much. But let's just, for now, try and get some Corey Parker middle third drinking game shots going on, please. Just put it on your story, tag us, and then we'll reshare it. And if I hear it, I'm going to be putting it up. because you'll now realize you'll be like, this motherfucker says middle third every other day. Every other second. But moving on from that, Eddie.
Yeah.
Curtis Scott.
Yep.
Now, just when you thought the Raiders season couldn't get any more ridiculous, Curtis filmed bashing a guy in a pub in Canberra.
Yeah.
Broke his nose, if you believe the reports.
And I do.
I do. Curtis can throw him.
Yeah.
Curtis has broken Dylan Walker's orbital bone. Apparently punched on with, I've just heard rumours of this one's an alleged, but I heard he punched on with Will Chambers and Quade Cooper when him and Chambers were teammates.
That's believable.
It's funny, right? Like when he got arrested by the cops and everyone felt sorry for him, he got $100,000 payout. It's like, yeah, you do feel sorry for him in that situation, but it's like Curtis seems to have some scallywag form.
Look, the two incidents aren't related.
No.
Though, because we've seen the body cam footage.
No, that was fucked up. He
was genuinely just trying to have a fucking power nap under the bloody shade of the SCG.
Yes.
But he has scallywag in him. That we do know.
I wonder this.
And evidenced by the fact that he was punching on the pub, broke someone's nose.
Yeah, broke the fuck out of
If
someone's
that's not
nose.
scallywag, I don't know what is.
If you were the Raiders,
Yes.
if you were sort of looking at history, when a Raiders player acts up, the Raiders historically get rid of them and then they go and play for their country or win a Dally M at another club. Should the Raiders be now doubling down on Curtis Scott and signing him for like 5 years?
I think you got to learn from history. Otherwise, you're deemed to repeat it. Now,
Wow.
am I a philosopher?
Wow.
Your words, not mine. But you got to look around the room and remember what the fuck happened when Dugan fucked up, when Blake Ferguson fucked up, when Monahan fucked up.
Actually, I think Monahan just left the game.
When,
you couldn't recover from that one.
When
Carney
fucked up. They went on to bigger and better things outside of,
the nation's capital.
I think you look at Curtis, you go, Curtis, what the fuck's all this about? You try and get him help if that's what he needs. And you double down, you triple down on Curtis. Maybe throw 10 years at him.
Give him a 10-year contract.
Maybe, why not?
Well, I tell you what though, like we've heard about Ricky bashing players allegedly, like his own, like fighting his own players. I don't know whether it's a smart move for Ricky to fight Curtis. Seeing the way he can fucking swing the arms,
or has Curtis learnt off Ricky?
From Ricky? Is it like
Curtis was throwing punches when he was at the Storm.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
not forget,
true.
That's when he hit Dylan Walker.
Yeah, it's true. They signed a
point.
brawler. They signed a brawler when they signed Curtis.
And there's a lot of comments coming out now, which I've kind of thought about for a while, that the Storm don't just like push anyone out of the club.
No.
And Curtis Scott was a good player, so
Yeah.
he'd clearly had some kind of issues that they knew about before.
Yeah.
Some history of throwing,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, apparently he fucking punched on again. This is probably unhelpful because it's an apparently and an alleged, but I heard it from, I swear it was a fucking good source, but I can't remember. But that at sort of like some sort of, even like a sponsor event or like a public facing event where Quade was there and him and Quade were like,
What fisticuffs?
yeah,
Over what?
I heard a female
Love usually the root cause.
of all Biffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually. Not always.
Not always, but sometimes.
Sometimes it can be walk past a bloke and you brush his elbow, but other times.
What are you looking at me for, bruh?
Yeah.
And then other times it's like, she's mine.
Yeah.
I love her. I love her too.
Two mountain goats going for it.
Two mountain
Over
goats.
the right to
Mount a goat.
clever.
Thank you.
Very good.
So look, I don't know where to from Curtis. There is, I think, genuine yarn around Canberra that like they might fuck him off.
What did we just say? Are we ever wrong? Put it that way. Ask yourself this. Are we ever wrong? I know people at Canberra listen. Are we ever wrong?
No.
Triple the fuck down on Curtis.
Give him the fucking C next to his name. Make him captain.
Otherwise, he'll be a kangaroo before you know it.
He will. He'll go to fucking, he'll go to the Roosters. He'll go back to the Storm somehow.
Robbo would get the best out of him.
Yeah. Now, do they need a centre? Well, Josh Morris ain't getting any younger.
He ain't getting younger. He's getting older.
He's getting older, actually. Time ever marching forward.
Look,
whatever the
by the
fucking
time he wins in the end.
Undefeated.
Yeah, he's undefeated. Except
We're not nailing our sayings here,
No,
our
we're not.
phraseology, but we're dancing around
but
it.
the essence of what we're saying rings true.
It's coming through. Yeah, it's coming through. So anyway, Raiders to sign Curtis for maybe 10 to 12 years, lifetime contract, $1 million a season.
I'd make him a lifetime member.
And I'd peg it to the increase in the salary cap.
Yep.
Daily Cherry Evans style.
Yep. Really fuck yourself.
Yep. Is that Rugby League, Dave? No, it's not.
Yeah.
I want to shout out our man PVL. Obviously, we've mouthed the great man for over a year now.
I've throated him.
Look forward to our next lunch. But a lot of shit's been going on with the players, the RLPA v PVL, RLPA v PVL,
Rugby League
Players Association v St. Peter V'landys. But, the players being pissed off with the implementation of the high tackle rule and all this stuff, which I think is completely reasonable. And obviously the high tackle became a bit of a shit show after Magic round. Just a couple of things were the players were disgruntled. Your Hoopers and your Kents of the world were trying to make it seem like the players were pieces of shit. But I think that it was generally the players their gripes seemed pretty reasonable. It didn't sound like they were being fuckwits. But then basically PVL still sticking solid to the concussion thing and going mate, we got to fucking get out of the game, rah, rah, rah. Both parties coming from legitimate standpoints. But PVL came out just over the weekend and was yeah, you know what? If I could have done it differently, if I could have my time over again, I would have done it different. I should have consulted the players more. And I was just that's an operator. That's someone who goes I'm prepared to admit that I didn't do it correctly and come out and sort of say it publicly. And there's been a bit of I've sensed a bit of there's been the chat around the players don't like PVL, they want to get rid of him, and that sort of was potentially just some bullshit spin from the media. But I just found that a very refreshing and I think almost a little bit I always thought that he was that sort of a bloke, to be comfortable to own his mistakes. But I thought the general sort of yarn was that he was a fucking idiot, you know what I mean?
No, that he was a tyrant.
A tyrant who was just nah, my way or the highway, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's been put to bed. Obviously, we are pro-V'landys and pro-V'landys for a reason. I don't know. I can see the Rugby League Players Association's point. They just wanted to be consulted. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
V'landys coming out saying that he should have done it differently. I think that heals or fixes that little problem. In terms of the players being we want to oust him, part of me thinks
that was bullshit.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
And that was the media spinning their own narrative. I could be wrong.
Bro, Cherry Evans went on NRL 360.
I could be wrong, but my feeling on that is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of other stuff that the media has been spinning around how players only give a fuck about themselves or they don't care about the little man and they never care about health and safety. Cameron Smith on Kempy's podcast, the one they do on SEN.
Captain's call.
He's he was the chancellor's not the right word.
RLPA player president or whatever the fuck it was.
President shit, director, whatever, at many times throughout his career. And he was that is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was said in the way that it just made me believe him. I was no. Cameron's not lying here.
No.
He's the fucking, one of the first things we talk about is player welfare and safety.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is talking about making sure the blokes on the lower end of the scale get
some money.
So I think that's the media fucking spinning their own narrative.
So Cherry went on to NRL 360.
Whether or not that narrative was pushed along by St. Peter, I don't know.
Who the fuck knows? But so in terms of the whole the players wanting to oust him, Cherry went on to NRL 360 on Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. Shout out to NRL 360.
Is it Thursday potentially?
Friday? They don't do. The show's not on Thursday or Friday. No, it's only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Nice try, trick question.
Just
anyway,
keeping you on your toes, Tom.
Huh?
Just keeping you on your
Mate,
toes.
I'm always on my fucking toes. You kidding me? Strongest toes in the game.
You're always. Sometimes you're in your ass.
Well, that's true.
Or your
Right
back.
now, on my back, the weekend.
On your knees.
On my knees when PVL's in town. He got on there, Cherry Evans, and he got asked, he's the RLPA president now, or whatever it is, what Cameron Smith was. He got asked the same question 10 fucking times. And he had to find a different way to answer it 10 times. I was like, this is the worst fucking interview I've ever seen in my life.
Who was asking the questions?
The NRL 360 panel.
Pooper?
They all were. But it was just like, well, so what do you say about the fact that there was a few players that wanted to oust V'landys? He's like, well, listen, there are 500 players in the NRL and I can't control who speaks to the media. And if a player speaks to the media, they don't necessarily speak for the entire playing group. But if there are players that want him gone, then that's what it is, right? But I can tell you that I never wanted him gone. And I can tell you that like the general fucking approach from the players thing was like that we didn't want him gone. We just wanted to have a seat at the table when the rules were being fucking changed. And then the next one would ask the exact same question, but slightly differently. Well, Daly, why? So you don't have any control over the players? Well, why? Like, why are their players? And he's like, look, as I said, guys, and he was so calm. Like, I was watching it going, how is Daly not going, I just answered that question. But he just kept going.
Did Ben Ikin ask the same question?
No, Ben doesn't. Ben, it's weird. On an NRL show, you've got a fucking former footballer there who asks the journos about rugby league. Again, I like NRL 360 as a show. But it was just crazy to see.
I like it less.
Look, unfortunately, recently it's been a bit fucking. This is an example of what is not good about it.
In fact, I don't watch it anymore. So
I do when there's big shit, but like this is an example of why it wasn't good because it was just like complete agenda bashing, and it just the same question. And by the end, Cherry was going, and again, just staying so calm and just going like, oh yeah, look, guys, like I feel like maybe we're going around in circles a little bit here, but like we didn't want to get rid of him. We just really wanted to be consulted around the rules and changes that are going to affect the game. We just wanted to be consulted. Well, okay, Daly, so just to wrap up here, what do you want to say to those players that did want PVL ousted? And he's like, I mean, look, yeah, obviously maybe we could be a little bit more aligned on before we go to the meeting. Like, it was just like, what do you want this motherfucker to say? He's told you 10 different times that he didn't want to get rid of PVL. And he's like, they're like, have you spoken to Peter? He's like, yeah, look, Peter was kind enough to give me some time of his today. We had a good chat. I told him what we did, and it was just like, what else does this guy need to fucking do here? Like, he
needs to say something outrageous so they can sell.
And it was just like, I was watching this going like, oh my God, if I could have been fucked, which I definitely couldn't at that time because I was watching it in the evening, but like, I just wanted to edit like a number ding every time they asked the exact same fucking question of him and him just answering the same way and just like him. I'm like looking at his face because it's obviously like he's at Maroon's camp and you're just seeing his face, hear the same question. He's like, okay, well, yeah, so like I don't want to go around in circles, but yeah, and just would say the exact same thing. It was wild. It was wild. But shout out to PVL for admitting that he could have done it better because I think that's the mark of a man.
Class.
Class.
Bro, Fiji are live streaming an announcement on Facebook, Fiji Rugby.
Dude, we have to talk about this.
And there's been no sound for 15 minutes.
But the guy live streaming apparently is like going to like fucking insights on YouTube and shit like.
Yeah, he's clicking out of the Zoom window and clicking into other windows while he's like screen sharing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So he doesn't know what he's doing.
No idea. And all the comments are like, there's no sound. And it took them like 8 minutes to actually fucking...
So have they fixed the sound?
Nah. The dude who's like obviously running it is fucking... He's come on a couple times being like, it should be solved in 5 minutes. But the guys who are doing the announcement are still just talking.
Oh my God. Wonder what they're announcing.
Partnership with Nye.
Oh no. That's so sweet. I feel fucking bad for him. I mean, fucking hell. You think that you'd... also, though, like, get it right.
Yeah. And it's not like Fiji Rugby is like a complete, like, povo organisation.
No, of course not, mate.
They won an Olympic fucking gold.
Well, their sevens fucking, like, is just ridiculous. But it's just, like, it doesn't look good. It looks like pure shit. Maybe Nike should have run that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nike should have run point on the announcement, I think. That's adorable. So we put up a thing on our Instagram yesterday saying if you're a Queensland fan and you want to take us on an Origin bet, that'll be on the podcast, slide into the DMs.
Yes.
It is for a promotional thing, something else, but well, it's for DoorDash. We can say that, doesn't really matter. I'm not going to hide it. But Christian Welch, who was of a Queensland Origin throbber fame, premiership winner, Dave's hero,
Shield winner.
Nicest bloke in the league.
Does he follow D or Dave? He does, doesn't he?
He does.
There you go. Anyway, he got back to us and he's like, I want in. So obviously we're not involving him in any sponsorship specific thing because he's probably not allowed to anyway, and that's not the point. But it did get me thinking that I think we can probably take on, or at least we can throw out a fucking Origin bet to Christian.
Yes.
And see whether he's willing to accept it.
I think so, Tom.
So you and I were mulling over.
I think we put our money where our mouth is.
Yes.
Metaphorically.
Probably metaphorically or literally. I don't know. But we basically were talking before the podcast about what we could potentially do. We think we were going to say get us tickets to game 2 at Suncorp and we'll fly up. But you're away. Mm-hmm. So now what we're thinking is for him just to get us tickets to game 3 in New South Wales, which will be a dead rubber because New South Wales will have won the first 2. But we want to sit with like Queensland family. We want to be put like in like where your tickets for the family and shit. So I think we're just going to quickly respond to Christian here and just let him know, and then we'll see what we can do here. Get back in the dams. And we're away. Hello, Christian. Tom and Eddie here from the Hello Sport podcast. Obviously, you know. We might even be his heroes to a degree, I think it's fair to say.
Look, his words, not mine, Tom.
Yeah.
Hero's been thrown around by Christian, several times in the past. I'm happy to wear that title. Happy to wear that. Yeah. You got in touch with us regarding taking us on for Origin.
Yeah, an Origin-based bet.
Basically, we can't use you for that. That's for a sponsor, DoorDash. We want to create our own market with you, though. Okay, something a little more bespoke between just you and I.
Yeah.
Or us and you.
I'm also involved.
Tom's also involved. Tom, what were we thinking?
Well, look, we were thinking that potentially if we win game 1, New South Wales being we, then you provide us tickets to game 3, but we want to be sitting in with like all the Queensland family members. Like if you're giving tickets for like your family to come, then like we want to be sitting with Queensland family.
We want to be next to your mum.
Yes.
For example.
And your brother and your dad and your fucking grandma and whoever else is there. We want to be sitting in Queensland family seats, cheering on New South Wales. If we win game 1, if you win game 1, then we're happy for you to like maybe come back at us with.
You come back to us with something. If we think it's acceptable, the bet will go live. If it's fucking outrageous, then you can belt it and then we'll just watch New South Wales win anyway.
Yeah.
Like we don't need your fucking shitty seats.
But
we'd like them.
We'd like them.
But we're not going to sell our soul for them, Christian.
But we might.
We might. We might not.
There we go. Ball's in your court, Welchie. There we go. All right.
That's how it's done.
Bet's on.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Do you know Christian Welch was born in Sydney?
Oh, so he's a fucking turncoat.
So he's a turncoat. Why'd you wait till after we filmed the fucking video?
I didn't want to out my boy.
Whose side are you on?
Mate, he's a turncoat. He's a
Clearly.
Storm fan.
Yeah, he's a Storm fan, turncoat Queenslander. He's fucking Dave's
whose side
like.
do you think I'm on?
Well, there's an intern behind you, mate, who's going to take your fucking seat.
Moved to Townsville at a young age.
A young age.
Fucked. So he's a turncoat.
State of origin, Walchy. Where'd you originate, bruh?
Bro, fucking Queenslanders,
Fucking turncoat.
dude.
Queenslanders love being turncoats.
I know.
Like more than anything.
Yeah. That's almost.
Like,
that
I was
should be,
born and raised in New South Wales, but I fucking love Queensland.
Yeah, it should be on your fucking coat of arms or whatever you have. That's rugby league, though, right?
The turncoat of arms.
The turncoat of arms, Dave. If you weren't such a turncoat, I would have liked that. You know what I mean?
But because it came out of your mouth,
Yeah.
it's been dirtied.
I tell you what we'll do. We'll just chop that out and then I'll say it or you say it and then I'll be like that. So you say it now. Say turncoat of arms.
Turncoat of arms.
Dude, great fucking call, Eddie.
Thanks,
I love that. I love that. That's a great idea. That's funny. We should use that.
We will.
We should make D or Dave merch. Turncoat of arms.
Yeah.
Great idea. If only Dave would come up with it.
What else we got?
Osaka.
I think that is. I don't know about that.
Just give me just listen.
I really don't want to talk about it.
You really don't want to talk about it.
What do you want to talk about? Oh, she's got mental health, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just a bit fucking... we can't have that much fun with it.
We don't have to always have fun. I mean, although we are a fun podcast, but it was just more for me, like, people are now coming out, like, athletes are coming out and saying, like, yeah, fucking they shouldn't be doing press conferences. And I'm just like, well, no, you should. If you can't, like, Naomi has got mental health issues and she can't do it, and that's completely reasonable, right? Like, I'm not fucking having a crack at her for not feeling up to it, and she withdrew like she should. But if you're going to partake in these sporting events, if you want to be an athlete where you're getting paid fuckloads of money, then you got to do press.
Did you see what Fitzy said? Fitz of Fitz Files fame?
What?
Of Red Bandana fame?
No, what did he say?
He was like, listen, you got to, although you might not have been in a great spot mentally, and obviously your mental health comes first, but you got to take a leaf out of like the Wayne Bennett, Ricky Stewart book where you just get in there and you just fucking
Dead bat shit.
Dead bat it, and you go, okay, how long have I got to be in here for? 5 minutes? Give the most dull, dry 5 minutes of your life so that at the end of it, every fucking journo in there is like, thank fuck that was over.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, you're going to get 50 times more media scrutiny than if you just went in there and dead batted.
Yeah.
So it's actually worse for your mental health not doing it because of the fucking furor than just going in and dead batting it.
But
Do you know what I mean?
Marshawn lynching it.
Yeah,
Marshawn Lynch
exactly.
it.
But you have to do this shit. Like, people go, I've heard so many people being like, well, who fucking really cares what they have to say after a game? Or like, whether it's footy, tennis, whatever. I'm like, that's the most interesting fucking conversation is after the game, because you want to hear how they think about their performance or their team's performance or the coach on players' performances or whatever the fuck it is. Like, this is what it is. The games, the sport revolves around media fucking generating interest in it. So, like, you feel terrible for her, right? She's been having bouts of depression since 2018, since she won. Like, her life, she's gone from a nobody to, like, the highest earning athlete in the world, like 71 million last year or something. Ridiculous. And, you know, sponsored by fucking everyone on the planet. And it got too much for her. And that's sad. Good that she's realised it and good that she's taken time away. But if you're going to compete in fucking sports, you have to deal with press conferences. That's part of the game. I don't get it. Some athletes are coming out going like, yeah, fuck this, fuck press conferences. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? If you need to withdraw
from your mental health, that's fine. But you got to withdraw from the event.
Yes.
If you're going to stay in the event, you got to do the press conference.
Yes. Because also, like, I'm not saying, like, obviously we don't know what it's like to be in a press conference where, you know, you're actually kind of speaking to the world. Like, you know what this conversation you're having with these people and the questions they're asking you and the way that you answer them are going to be played in every fucking country because everyone cares about tennis. Like, that'd be overwhelming.
Like this podcast.
Exactly like this podcast, but no one's asking us questions. We set the agenda. So it's a little less daunting. But, like, you know, you don't understand what that's necessarily like. But also, they're not that fucking hectic. Like, it's not like they're asking you really fucked up questions. It's about, like, why you lost. Are you struggling to play? It's not not that hectic. Like, it's like, be real here. It's not that fucking hectic what they're getting asked. You might be disappointed after losing a game of tennis, but, like, again, if you've got mental health issues, different story. But, like, let's keep it all in context here. You're playing fucking tennis for millions and millions of dollars and you might have lost.
But also the pressure of winning and losing the match far greater than a couple of questions about it after, you would think.
But I also think there's a little bit, and I don't disagree, but there's got to be a bit where it's like you're doing your job, and if someone comes up to you after you've maybe had a crap day at your job and be like, why were you shit? Like, why were you...
You mean like performance reviews by your boss?
Yeah, that
shit
sucks.
happens.
Would you want to not do that?
But it happens at jobs. Like, that's just what happens. When I was in radio, you had to go in and they'd fucking air check the show with you and go, why'd that happen? Or what was this? Or why'd you... And yeah, it's not fucking great. It's not fun, but like...
Sales jobs, they listen to your calls and then they call you over and you go, let's walk through fucking why you're not selling that well.
Yeah.
Like, people are fucking performance reviewed all the fucking time.
But also,
not all jobs are.
But also the success of the sport of any sport is like coverage in media. Like, it's the way fans connect with it. Obviously the sport itself, but if no media cover anything that fucking happens, it's like no one knows if the field hockey world champs is going on right now because no one gives a fuck.
Every journal that's ever wrote a piece, the fucking editor goes, that was shit, do it again.
Do it again.
Like,
this is if you're asking questions, like the media obligations of any athlete are to promote the game, whether it's after a loss or whatever. It's like, this is shit that people want to watch and people want to hear. I'm not saying that it's going to be fun to have a press conference after you've just shit the bed in a tournament, right? Like a game maybe where you should have won and you just got dusted 6-love. Like, I get it. It's not going to be fun. And if you're not up to it mentally, that's okay. You should absolutely take the time, but you can't be going, I'm just not going to fucking do it. And somehow the tennis organizations or these sports organizations that are trying to get this shit, like they're somehow the bad guy for wanting fucking press conferences. That to me just seems bizarre.
Couldn't agree more.
But again, shout out to Naomi. It's not an attack on her. I just think it's a general conversation. And she should take time.
It's got nothing to do with Naomi at the moment. Like, she's withdrawn for mental health issues. She's out of the whole tournament.
Yes.
But the players that are like, well, we shouldn't have to do press.
And other athletes who are like, I'm standing with her. I'm like, well, as long as we're just understanding that, like, we're standing with someone who's stood up about their mental health and taken time out, that's great. Good for her. But if it's a fucking anti-press conference yarn, I just think that's crazy town. Anyway, so we won't talk about Naomi Osaka and tennis.
No, we'll just leave that.
We'll just leave that, I think. A bit too red hot for us.
Sweet.
So there's obviously some biffs today. The Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight, Edward. You good?
Yep, good.
Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather. And so basically, what's also been announced this week is that Jake Paul is now fighting, what's his fucking name? Former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. And basically Woodley's getting paid out the arse. But now all these UFC fighters are realizing, not that they didn't already know, but just like that a YouTuber who has no fucking, I think it's just like with every fight these Paul brothers are having and the amount of money they're making, these UFC fighters who have dedicated their life to being the best in the world at this thing are just getting more and more fucking pissed off when, like, you could be in the top 10 and you're making $25,000 a fight. And that's 25 to show, 25 to win. Then you got to pay taxes. Then you got to pay your trainers. Then you got to pay fucking like the whole fight camp. Yeah. Sometimes you're coming away with like 10 grand to fucking put your life on the line and get the shit kicked out of you.
Mate.
Like, and the UFC makes fuckloads of money. These players are all independent contractors. They don't unionize. They've got no fucking rights. And by the time they're 50, if they can remember their kids' names, then good on them. And the UFC has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And they're probably still trying to find work. You know what I mean? Like they're at a fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
And so like every time a fucking Jake Paul or a Logan Paul fight is announced or that there's talk about it where they're making like millions and millions of dollars, they're just, the UFC fighters getting more and more disgruntled. I don't know whether it's like something that'll lead to the UFC like having their hand forced or whether it like these fighters will start to unionize and then they have to sort of get a bit more. But like, Borrachino, what's his fucking, the Brazilian who lost to Izzy.
Yeah.
What's his fucking name? Israel Adesanya beat him and humped him afterwards. God, my fucking memory's gone this morning. Paulo Costa. Jesus Christ. He's like, dude, he's on his Instagram or some shit, like he's tweeting and he's like, the money the UFC are offering me is like less than what I'm getting, like what I'm being offered before. There are like fighters that are worse than me, but it's just that they're like more popular and they're getting offered more. So like, you know, someone like, you know, I'm going to stop trying to remember people's names, but like these other fighters who are maybe just got a bit more hype, but they're not actually better in the rankings, but it's all about like the WWF style of like who's getting more pay-per-views. So what does he say here? Just want to clarify what's up. I've been working so hard to come and make a great show for fans next against a great UFC name on a similar position as me, the number 2 top ranked. But they keep insisting on paying me even less than some unranked fighters. That's unfair. And I'm a guy people want to see fighting. I believe this is very bad for sport and fans lost good fights. Would suppose, okay, this is broken English shit. But like even Jake Paul was like, Ngannou and John Jones should be fighting for the heavyweight title, but the UFC don't want to pay him. Like, I think they want like 10 million each or something. And it's like, they should be able to get that for the biggest fucking fight. But
one of the biggest fights in UFC history.
It'll probably be the biggest ever if they fought. Like, it would probably be the biggest, maybe a bit less because Conor and fucking Khabib, but like.
It wouldn't be bigger than Conor.
You would assume not, but because it's a heavyweight, who knows? But like, then this other UFC fighter who is someone I've never fucking heard of.
Mate, it's interesting times. Like, Dana would be sitting back going, these fucking Paul brothers.
Yeah, and he hates
a real light on this shit fight for us.
This guy, Brian Kelleher. Any YouTubers out there, don't care about weight class, just want to retire without the fear of having to apply for a Walmart job.
Crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure Floyd's getting 100 million for his fight against Logan.
That wouldn't surprise me.
100 million for an exhibition. 8 rounds, no winners, no judges. Fucking unbelievable.
Ridiculous. And like you can't argue it. Like I get it. These fucking fighters.
Logan's looking jacked as
dude. He's looking so
dude.
jacked. So jacked.
Who's the guy in Rocky?
Ivan Drago.
Yeah, he looks like Ivan Drago.
Yeah, he does.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Mate, he's got it. Like obviously, you would assume reasonably that he's not going to win.
No,
but
Floyd's too slick.
Well, but like the only reason
But he's a lot bigger than him.
He's just a lot bigger. He's a lot bigger
than him.
It's like if you can land a punch, maybe, I don't know. But do you hear Logan Paul talking about it, and he's like, dude, I've got nothing to fucking lose here. Like he's the one with the pressure on him. Obviously that's not really true, but it's like I'm not meant to win. I'm a fucking nobody. He's like the fact that I'm here. He calls it like a finesse. He's like the fact that I'm here fighting Floyd means that like I've played all of you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm probably going to lose. Yeah, that's what everyone fucking thinks. But what if I knock this motherfucker out? The 50-0 GOAT of boxing, and I come in as this fucking YouTuber, way fucking bigger than him.
Way bigger
than him. I'm not saying he wins because obviously that would be crazy. But in a fight, you only need to land one punch.
Are there markets on it?
Sure there are.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can bet.
But if there's no decision, then
there'd be only
it
knockout
must just
markers.
be knockout. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Floyd paying? Floyd doesn't have knockout power anymore, though. That's the thing.
Sports bet offer.
No, but maybe with a guy who's like not really a boxer, he does.
It hasn't got it on Sportsbet on their website unless they've suspended the markets.
Who knows?
I'm not surprised.
Who knows?
I don't know if everyone would be offering markets.
No. Anyway, look. Interesting. Obviously, by the time this thing comes out, there will already be a result in this boxing match, so who the fuck knows, but you'd assume that it's...
Tyrone Woodley can throw.
That's an interesting one. Tyrone Woodley can fucking throw, and he can take a punch.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Like, does the fucking...
He's still smaller than fucking Jake Paul, though, as well.
Jake's a big boy.
Jake's a big boy.
Yeah, fucking oath he is. They're big, those Paul brothers.
That's an interesting one. He's not a boxer. He's a wrestler, like in terms of his MMA strength.
I know. He's picking guys at like...
Yeah. Incrementally better and better and better.
But still not out and out.
He's fighting a 5-time UFC world champion, though, I think,
Yes.
is what he is. Like, that's still...
It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
Yes. And then his brother's fighting Floyd Mayweather. Like, what the fuck is going on here? The world is just fucking...
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I'm just wondering with that, because it's an exhibition fight, whether there'd be some sort of like secret fucking like contractual rules where it's like you can't be knocking Floyd Mayweather out, bro. Like you can't go hard. Remember when Tyson and fucking Roy Jones fought recently, it was like no headshots, and you're like, oh, okay, sick.
No, I don't think... Well, you'd be able to tell pretty quickly.
I tell you what, you will be able to tell quickly. It'll be cool if Floyd just pieces the fuck out of him. That'll also be fun.
Wouldn't, mate, like...
You don't want an early stoppage, though.
No, but that's the thing. Like, Logan's a lot bigger, sure, but he's fighting one of the best boxers in a boxing match of all time.
Yeah.
This isn't fucking some UFC fighter
or
that
some
cannot
YouTube
fucking throw who's
He
only a
also
wrestler.
lost to a YouTuber, so it's not like he's fucking got a great record. He's like 1-1 in his boxing career.
That's what I mean. Like, Logan's fighting a legit out-and-out all-timer, like top 5 ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could say he's the number one, but...
But people, like a lot of
Yes,
people have
yeah,
him top
yeah, yeah.
5, right? Boxing aficionados. So the fucking chances of winning, I would say, are slim to none.
Could you two just not talk anymore?